This is called a passive house. This particular passive house belongs to this man.
My name is Paul Kealey, and I am the CEO of EkoBuilt. A passive house is a house that's able to use passive energy. The insulation requirement is ultimately 3 times the building code. So instead of a 6-inch wall, we build approximately an 18-inch wall. Airtightness is probably the biggest difference, how tightly the home is sealed. A passive home is ultimately as close as you get to a thermos with respect to a home.
And you don't necessarily need to live in the middle of nowhere to have one.
A passive home can actually be able to work anywhere.
Even here. This is Paul and EkoBuilt's first house in central Ottawa. It's being built on a tiny lot carved out of an alleyway. Even though it's a passive house, it's still pretty much a normal construction site. So it's a bit messy.
So down here, you can see everything on the inside looks relatively conventional. Drywall is used like any other home. The second floor up here is the main living area. So we're facing relatively southern exposure here. So we have quite a bit of glass happening. Like, we think any home should have enough window or strategic window placement, so during the day no lights have to be on. With these windows, when it's minus 25 degrees on the outside, the inside pane of the glass has to be 17 degrees or higher. So that when you're right up against this door or window, you don't feel any temperature swings, which is ultimately the problem with our conventional windows. In a standard home, you need a heat source in every room, and all the heat sources are placed underneath the window or the door. In a passive home, 1 heat source per floor.
You walk into a passive house, you're like, oh, it just feels so nice, it's quiet, and you sort of feel like you're in a little castle because the walls are this thick. About 15 years ago, I don't know, I read an article or something and just came into my attention, and it just made sense to me. We just wanted to live in a house that wasn't going to chew up lots of energy. The comfort. We were just looking like Ottawa housing stock's really old and everyone's got a damp, mouldy basement, and we just really didn't want to deal with that. So we felt like this was a good opportunity to build a passive house.
We'll try and maybe finalize that stuff by the end of the week.
Okay, that'd be great. So and then we can get a sense of timeline
a real timeline, yeah.
So we can tell our landlord, because he's kind of on us.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
For years, the biggest barrier to more homes like this being built has been the extra cost. But Paul says that now, that concern is a thing of the past.
The savings are actually instant. The day someone moves in, a passive home is approximately 10% more than a conventional home. The difference in energy savings is ultimately the same cost as a monthly payment on that additional investment to make the conventional home passive. People can do a good thing at the same time, both for the health of themselves, being in a healthy environment, and a healthy planet. There's good talk that the passive standard is going to become the standard way to build in as little as 10 years. We're going to be building passive for a long time.